made contact and shattered.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag.
Law enforcement had considered Laundrie the only person of interest in the murder of his fiancée, Gabby Petito.
On reference to a missing 4-year-old, the parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Turn it over to another agency. Let's get some help.
Hello?
John.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here for another live stream here at ATS News. We're going to be talking about the Quinton-Simon case. As far as I know, they have not found him still to this day, and they will be looking in the landfill until they do. And that's as far as I know. If anyone else has any other updates as far as the search efforts, please let me know. I'm just under the impression that they're just going to keep searching until they find him. And good morning, Allison Faye. Tia Dash, good to see you. Caroline, Diane, good to see you. 2 boys, 1 mom. Hi. Hello, Dreamer. And everyone else joining us, good morning. It's so good to see you guys. So there's been a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure you guys have seen. I'm sure you guys have heard. I know that there's been a bunch of other channels restreaming the streams of, the protesters and just being outside the house. The suspects in the case, which right now it is still only the mother, the prime suspect, the sole suspect, the only suspect, however you want to say it. Leilani is the only suspect in the disappearance, which now they're saying that they believe strongly that he is deceased. So, the murder of this 20-month-old. So it's just absolutely horrendous, this case, but he's grabbed a hold of all of our hearts, and it's not something that I can just look away from and not cover anymore. Like, we need answers. So Allison said phone call was released between BHB and unknown source, BHB and Cher working together. That's been predicted. I know people were kind of predicting that. Alrighty. So on that note, I want to just share some of these a mainstream media source that has a visual of Leilani outside. And once Leilani gets on the screen, I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to play through my phone a snippet of Leilani when she was on Cher's channel. I'm not going to play Cher's video. You guys can check that out. I just want to play this one little part because I had some notes that I wanted to add to it. So you'll see. I'll present all this to you right now, and we'll get started because there is stuff to talk about. And just, not to go too deep into the conversation, but do you guys think that pressure campaigns help make arrests? I'm just curious what the chat's opinions are, or even those watching on replay. Let me know what you think. Do you think pressure campaigns help make arrests?
Now, dozens of FBI agents and police officers are still picking through the Chatham County landfill looking for the remains of little Quinton.
And this was this was right before, like right on the weekend, I think maybe Friday night or Saturday.
Simon. The child was first reported missing earlier this month. Investigators now believe he is dead, and his mother, Leilani Simon, has been named as the main suspect in the case. WSAV's lead investigative reporter, Brett Buffington, is joining us now live at the Joint Task Force Command Center near the landfill. Brett, where do things stand tonight?
Tina, I can tell you those searchers, they have gone home for the day and for the week. They will suspend their search at that landfill over the weekend as they did last weekend. It's a time for them to essentially regroup in their efforts, take some type of break, as well as the landfill does close for the weekend. So they have gone home. They will resume their search on Monday morning at daybreak. I can tell you they can't tell us exactly how much trash they have gone through or if they have found anything relevant to this case. Speaking of Quinton's mom, as you did at the beginning of this story, let me show you some brand new video we just got.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here. I literally have no words for this case, guys. It's devastating. It's sad. I feel like Quinton is being lost in all of this stuff. Like, I'm looking at the chat and there's some mixed reviews on the protesting. And good morning, everyone who has joined us. And if you haven't hit that like, please hit the like. Hi, Karen. Hi, Nikki Rex. And everyone else, thank you so much for being here. So I don't know. I just feel like Quinton is getting lost in all this drama and all that. But let me just play for you guys. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. It's really not so much about like her body language and the way she's looking. And honestly, it's not even so much, in my opinion, about her not saying anything or I just want to play this and then I'll explain my thoughts after, okay? So this is from Cher's live when she was on. And see how it's just Leilani. I edited it so that it's just her little square. So give me a second to play this sound. So let me just narrate real quick before I play this. At this point in the live stream, which was over 2 hours long, again, people were sending me these clips. I skimmed through and wanted to watch when the suspect in this case was on camera. So they were talking about, somebody in chat asked Cher, and I think Chasing Truth was up there, and Leilani, and they said in the chat, why isn't Leilani out there searching for her child? And so that's kind of like the context to this right here. Okay, so let me just play this, and that's the question that was asked by somebody in chat. Okay.
It's an active investigation with DNA and evidence. She cannot, and they don't allow families to stumble upon the remains of their own child. Additionally, she could contaminate the scene. You don't get to go search, even if you want to go search, unless they know it's an abduction by somebody else, and they don't know that yet. I asked for the person, right?
So she says, hold on. She says, when Chasing is saying, there's DNA, there's forensics, blah, blah, blah. She can contaminate that. And then you hear Leilani go, And then she says, I asked them, and then like her audio cuts out. And that's the thing, though. It's not really important about what she's saying. I'll get to it as soon as this is done. Hang on.
People say the craziest stuff. Why isn't she searching? Because do you think they're going to go bring her to the dump and just throw her in there and be like, go ahead? Yeah, I've heard that. Why isn't she searching the dump with them? I'm like, are you kidding me? You see people have to wear hazmat. Like, she's not. I'm telling you right now, I witnessed the law told them what to do, and they are doing exactly what the law told them to do. Period. They had to bring in a specialized team. People were upset. Why were they off all weekend? He explained it in English on the news. They had to wait for specific teams to come in who can do this. They are following every step. They're doing a great job. And if she's guilty, if she is, I want her.
And again, the rest of that, feel free to go check out. I seen a comment right here. The part where Grandma told to say, okay, so Grandma told Leilani to say justice for Quinton, then sternly looks at Leilani and says, say it. It seemed so off. Yeah, it was just the weirdest display. Like, I was just like, my eyes were like bugging out of my head. But what my main point was, let me find my little notes because I was saying it to CDT in our private chat, but it's just all I could think of at that moment, like with her body language and everything. Hang on. Let me find my notes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for letting me know I was muted. I couldn't find my notes, but basically what I'm trying to say is something I was noticing. And again, sorry guys. I wasn't really saying too much. So, cuz it took me a while to find my little note. But what I'm getting at is at this moment when everyone in chat is saying, somebody in chat said, why isn't she at the dump? And they're all saying to her that, why aren't you there? This and that. And it was like something, and they said, there's forensics and DNAs that she could contaminate. And they're going on and on. And all of a sudden it like clicked in my head and I was like, oh yeah, happy Halloween, guys. It clicked in my head like, wait a minute, like Leilani is not even arguing with them that he's not in the dump. You know what I mean? Like they just kept saying like he can't go there. They can't search the dump. She can't stumble on his body and cross contamination, yada, yada, yada. But not once did I notice that Leilani said, like, guys, he's not in the dump, or my baby's not there. Or, I don't know why they're even searching the dump. I never told them that he was there. And where are they getting this information from that he's in the dump? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not even so much about the fact that she's saying she can't search the dump. We know that, like, you're not going to go to the dump and search. Like, that's obvious. I don't know why people were even asking that. But not only do we see no emotion, no tears, yeah, she's numb to everything. All her feelings are numb. That's exactly what I was getting. It was just like there was nothing in her to say, like, a tear of even the thought of her child being in the dump. She was just sitting there on camera, letting them talk like, she can't go there. And if she did, she could cross, blah, 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 blah. And there's Leilani just like sipping her, whatever she's sipping. I'm sure it's alcohol. But it's just, it's an obvious statement to think that Leilani can't search the dump. What's not obvious and what's concerning to me is she's not even arguing that he isn't there. Like if you're innocent and you had nothing to do with anything with your child and people are claiming that you put him in the dump and you're here on live television and they're talking about like you searching it, like wouldn't you think like this isn't he's not in the dump or I didn't throw him out? There's like nothing of her saying that like he's not there. So then I think, is she not saying he's not there because she knows he's not there? Or is she saying that he's not there because she's just numb to it, doesn't care, and she's just waiting for them to find her? That's where I'm like very confused on. Hi Peach, and hello Blue Eyes, and everyone else who has joined us. Please hit that like button, even though I put myself on mute for a second. But anyways, guys, do you see what I mean? Is like they're over here talking about her child being in the dump and she's not even arguing that he's not there, or she's not even tearing up that with the idea that he could be there. It's like, is he really there? Then I start thinking like, okay, so Danny's gone. He just up and leaves her. The title of the thumbnail on this stream is, did Danny flip on Leilani? So I'm curious as I play the rest of this. Yeah, there's nothing. It's just zero, blank stare. It's very cold. It's more than cold. It's colder than the North Pole. So, who in chat is thinking that that Danny flipped on Leilani? Press 1 if you think Danny flipped on her and actually he's the one that gave them information about the dump, possibly. They do possibly have CCTV footage, but I'm also thinking if there's more evidence and more statements and everything else to kind of back up the fact that they believe that he's here at the dump, that Quinton is at the dump. Is it just the CCTV footage placing him there, or has Danny been like, you know what? I didn't do this. And for a while, I've been thinking it was an accident with the pool. Now, honestly, on camera, seeing Leilani as cold as she was there, I'm like, I would not put it past this woman to, snap on that little boy. And maybe he was getting into something, or maybe he wanted to be picked up, like my little girl, It's like if she's not being picked up by one of us, she'll just be like, you know, like sometimes they're just whiny, like they're just, and she's 21 months old. So it's just very much, I'm thinking their temperament and things they're into at this moment, you know, their climate. I thought maybe he got outside, but just seeing how cold she is. And also, you know, what else has made me think that maybe she did something to him, like physically, is her resentment for Quinton's father. Like last live stream we did on this case before the Debbie Collier one we did on Friday. I think I did one on Thursday on this case, but we spoke about Bubba, aka Quinton's biological father, and you know what he had to say about Leilani and how Leilani had tried to pin the crime on him, and how there was another crime, a break-in, where she tried to blame it on him as well. So, you know, it just seems like there's a lot of resentment and a lot of bad blood between her and Quinton's father. So then I started thinking, did she do something to Quinton because she has resentment towards him because of who his father is? Like, I just think that all should be taken into consideration. But let's continue this little mainstream media clip, and then we're going to go to let me see what else I got here. The babysitter's statement from Criminality that she had put up there, because I think we need to review the babysitter's latest statement, and then we're going to do the court TV segment on the case too. So 1 second, guys, and thank you for being here. If you haven't thumbed this up, please give me a thumbs up.
God, this is out front of Quinton's home. It is Bulkhalter Road, about 7 miles from where this command center is. This is the first time we have seen this. Protesters, they have been in front of that house for at least 2 weeks now, and Quinton's been missing for 3. But those protesters today met with Billy Joe Howell, Quinton's grandmother, and Leilani Simon, Quinton's mom, out front. They, of course, screaming justice for Quinton back at those protesters. There was some kind of a debacle there earlier today. The police have been called at least twice today back to that home, once we know from the police department involving signs. Meanwhile, let's get to new pictures we got today from the Chatham County Police Department and the FBI. This is an update of the intense and the incredible amount of work that they have to do in this search. You can see just those piles of trash. I can tell you from what we've been told by the FBI, they essentially bring trash from where they believe this dumpster that Quinton's body was in was dumped. They search through 2 lines of trash, and as soon as one of those lines is done, they bring in another one. Tina?
Well, Brett, you spoke to Quinton's biological father. What can you tell us about that conversation?
I can tell you we spent 2 days in Girard, Georgia. That's in Burke County, about 70, 80 miles away from here. And that is where Quinton Simon's biological father, Bubba Moss, lives. He is, of course, going through the loss of his son. As police have said, they believe Quinton is dead. But also we know that this week he lost his mother as well. I can tell you in the obituary for his mother, Quinton Simon listed as a survivor. But Bubba, obviously emotional in both of these. We asked him if he could tell us anything about his son, how he feels about this. He simply just walked back into his home. Tina.
They don't.
Oh, wow. I hadn't heard that part about his mother and stuff. That's sad. So it seems like a lot of people in chat, as I'm switching screens, I'm just looking through, think that Danny, the boyfriend, flipped on Leilani. Now, Teresa from Criminality is the channel that I'm playing this video from. And she has also been in contact with Cher, who obviously is in contact with the family. Excuse me. So I just wanted to take it upon myself to ask Teresa, to ask Cher, to ask the family. It's like a little game of telephone. But, you know, what's the deal with the car situation there that day? Who has the car? Who's it registered? What car did Danny take to work? And chat, if you guys know this, let me know, or if this sounds correct, let me know as well. So what I found out was the car is registered to Leilani. Danny took the car. Danny was 17 minutes late to work that day. And so what I'm thinking is something happened. Leilani gets in her car with the body and drives away, but she takes a minute because, you know, she's doing it herself. and Danny's home waiting for the car to return so that he can just hop in it and go to work. That's just a theory. I'm not sure where he works, Patricia. And Elle says, I heard she has 2 cars. Because I'm hearing it's some Dodge something. I think silver. But either way, I was just trying to think about, like, Danny being 17 minutes late for work. Like, what if Leilani took the car and he's just kind of like, what's going on? Or like, maybe he knows that she's up to something, or I'm not really sure. But I'm just thinking that if he flipped on her, that he knows enough where he can tell what he knows, but where he's not really like involved as closely to disposing of the body. Obviously would be tampering with the corpse of a charge. So I don't know. That was just my theory. If they're sharing that car and he was 17 minutes late to work. Yeah, the night before, definitely. I'm thinking like, you know, it could have happened any time between from the time they get home from the babysitters to when Danny leaves to work at 8 something in the morning. So that was just a theory, you know, that he's 17 minutes late to work because that's how long it took her to take the car quick and then bring it back to him to take to work. Good morning, CDT. But that was just a theory, guys. I'm not saying it's true. But oh my goodness, EE Caroline, you're funny. Alrighty, let's listen to the babysitter's latest statement. And this was, I think, released on Friday before the weekend or Saturday. They may have given Danny immunity for turning on Leilani, if that's indeed the case. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a very, very good possibility. Danny left. Oh, that's right. He got up at 5:28, left by 6. So, you know, did she take, I don't know, guys. I'm just thinking with the vehicle situation and with him being late to work, you know, could we put stuff more on Danny? Possibly he might know more, but I'm just thinking, you know, what little he does know might have been enough information for them to really think about going to that landfill, like in addition to the CCTV footage. Oh, Caroline, my theory wasn't anything big. It was just that I'm thinking in the research I've done through Teresa from Criminality, who asked Cher, who asked the family, it seems like Leilani owns the vehicle that Danny took to work. And Danny being 17 minutes late to work, I was thinking Leilani took the vehicle with Quinton in it, went to the trash can, came back, and then Danny got in the vehicle and went to work. That was it. That was my only theory. I was just thinking that's how possibly he knows things. But again, we don't really know.
Okay, I'm going to do this live because I have been quiet and it's doing no good. I was quiet so these people would not mess with my family, would not come to my house, would not take pictures, and I can't seem to get away from anyone at this point. Like nobody. Every time you go out, there's somebody there. So this is what I've got to say. I never, ever, and I'm only going to say this one more time, and I've got to clear up some things because people are twisting my words. So if it comes straight out of my mouth, then maybe you will understand. I never seen abuse as far as them being beat. I did see 2 bruises, 2. And could it have been a belt mark? I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Could it have been he fell? Also, yes, because he fell at my house. I am not 100% sure. I am not a doctor. I do not know what the 2 bruises were from. Did I see bruises before a couple of weeks ago? No, I have not. Now, my family's been getting a lot of threats, okay? And I haven't been talking, so I'm talking now. My daughter, they had to put it on the news, Fox News, as me saying it. But the pool incident, I did not encounter first. My daughter, Leilani, had texted, and this has been a couple months ago. Leilani had texted my daughter that night to see if we could pick them up for her that morning. I was already in bed. My daughter told me the next morning when I got up to cook breakfast. I said, okay, we live catty corner 2 houses down. I said, okay, you can go get them. She went over there. She calls me and tells me they're in the pool by themselves, both boys. So I go over there. We take them back to our house. We knock on the door. We call Leilani. At first, they stayed in the upstairs room. I know this because I cleaned her house one time. Did I have a key to her house? No, I did not. Did I go in her house multiple times? No, I did not. So finally, she calls back. We tell her we have the boys, but they were in the pool. Okay. Everyone is asking me about defects. I am so tired of hearing about defects. There was an open case. Facts was involved. Okay. Multiple people have called defects. I tried not to get on here and say a lot, except for when this first happened, because I have my family to think of as well. Was there neglect? Absolutely. Did they beat them? I never witnessed it. So this is what I'm saying to y'all. This is what I know. Yes, I did a Fox News update, and because nobody leaves me alone. So that is what I'm telling y'all. I do not know anything but that. I have not changed my story. It is still the same. I cannot determine if it was bruises from being beat or falling. If I'm not an expert, so if y'all, can look at the bruises and tell exactly what it was from, then, I don't know. But we love the kids. I'm not involved in this. They was not with me that day. What happened to Quinton or what has happened or where he is, I do not know, but he was not at my house. But me and my family are praying for Quinton's safe return. But we do not, this is my story. This is what it's been. I said I've seen 2 bruises, only 2 times, 2 bruises since I've kept them. I do not know nothing else, but people are twisting my words and it's really getting aggravating. We've all been sad about Quinton, but now it's turning like I'm angry because y'all are lying on me. And you're saying that no one got money for going on Fox News. I was tired of people saying different things on this internet. So I wanted to come on and set the record straight. I ain't got paid for nothing. Don't want to get paid in a situation where it has a baby that is missing or hurt. But this is what I'm telling y'all. This is my story and this is the truth.
So I'm curious, how many in chat think that her story has changed slightly? Because I'm just saying there's people outside the house blaming the neighbors and blaming the community for not intervening with these bruises that were allegedly seen on Quinton. So the whole time, and I got a little bit of crap for it in the beginning, the whole time I was never 100% positive that this babysitter was seeing bruises from a belt. And people were saying, you would know if you were ever hit with a belt what a bruise with a belt looks like. And I'm just thinking, guys, I was spanked. Like, can we not make it into that? Like, the whole thing is that was her perception of what the bruise came from. That was never 100% proof. So can we just lay it out there? And yeah, it has, Karen. It has changed a bit. Her story has changed slightly. Yep, definitely changed, but I think she's scared. I do too. Hi, Leo girl. Her story has changed. She previously called them belt marks specifically. She did. And I was opposed to her claiming that because you don't know. Like, you weren't there. You didn't witness it. You didn't see the belt there. Nobody told you even hearsay about them using a belt to discipline these kids. So all I'm saying is the bruising could definitely have been from anything. yes, I think those kids were neglected. I think that they were not being watched close enough. I mean, if they were in the pool by themselves, his brother's what, 2? So that is, yeah, I think she was emotional when she first said it. She was clearly nervous. Now, yeah, and that's the thing is like maybe this got bigger than she thought it would, you know what I mean? I'm sure it has. And I just think that the whole he was being beat with a belt, like I'm not 100% there. If we get more evidence to back up that they were being hit, um, then yeah, kids get bruises all the time from playing, but those kids were neglected. That's obvious. I definitely feel that they were neglected. And I do think that bruises can happen from being neglected. If he's just running rampant and no one's saying, be careful, or, if he's climbing and no one's saying, don't climb. I mean, there's a lot of times you have to redirect a 20-month-old, take them off the side of the couch before they fall. And I don't think anyone was really doing that except for the babysitter when she had them. So again, I'm not sure why the babysitter's kind of backtracked. Maybe she thought this story sounded good the first time she'd said the bruises or whatever and got in over her head. I really can't say. CDT says, I think it has changed a bit, but I think she is backtracking some out of fear. She may still be holding things back to the public. True. Right. Because remember, people started coming down her neck. Like, okay, so you thought that these were from belts and you didn't do anything more. So I can definitely see where she's kind of like backtracking. Getting death threats is a whole different thing. She and her family don't deserve this. Yeah, I just think that her and her family were the only ones that were really watching Quinton close enough. Not to be graphic, beating a 20-month-old would be unusual. The child would have random slash marks everywhere because they're so small. Exactly. I'm just reading chat, guys. Okay. Now, good comments in chat, by the way. I agree that she's a good person and love these kids, but her own words have changed some. I might be inclined to do the same in her situation, right? And it's unfortunate that she had her daughter record that fight because she's a mother too. And I don't want to come down too hard on her, but it was probably a lot for that girl. Like, maybe it's normal for her to have this drama in their lives, but I just still think like the daughter is a little bit close to the drama, too close to the drama too, just as a minor. Yeah, exactly. Who would hit a 20-month-old? Like, you're not going to get the results I mean, you can't. They're just little. They're too little to understand that. All right, give me a second to change screens. What I want to do before we do the court TV one is refresh again on the 911 call. We only have the dispatch, but I do think that it's important to kind of re-listen to it because think about it, guys. This was Leilani's first story. We need to keep that in mind because we've heard from Billy Joe, we think that they were high and he was in the bathtub. But all the missing flyers and information we have on his last outfit is a Sesame Street top and bottom. Why would his last outfit that he was seen in be that if he was in a bathtub? You know what I mean? So I don't know why the grandmother's story, Billy Joe, is different than Leilani's initial 911 call. Like their stories should align. There shouldn't be all these different theories. But again, we have Billy Joe saying that Leilani lies and steals, etc. So
her 1-year-old son is missing. She woke up, her door was open. Opening doors, think someone came. And he's unable to open a door, think someone came in and took him.
Family members say Quinton's mom has a history of stealing and using the money to buy drugs. Quinton's babysitter told News Nation station WSAV she heard from Quinton's mom early Wednesday morning when she said she didn't have to watch Quinton that day.
I get a text at 9 o'clock saying, "Have I seen Quinton?" I immediately go to their house. I try to help them look. They didn't want that. My heart is broken. I'm not his mother. I'm not his family, but I love him very much. And I just don't know what could happen. The police did a really good job of looking.
Complained about her 1-year-old son is missing. She woke up, her door was open, but he's unable to open the door. I think someone came in and took him.
News 3 obtained a recording of the police dispatch call made on that day.
So once again, somebody came in and took him, and that is the initial response. We have to remember that. We have to remember Leilani's story changing, okay? So now they're talking about the dump that we played earlier in the live stream on Cher's channel, and they're saying, you know, why are people asking that why you're not at the dump searching? You can't go to the dump, blah, 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 blah. Not once did she say, he's not at the dump, guys. Somebody came in and took him. I've been telling you guys from the beginning. I told 911 that. The back door was open, blah, 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 blah. Not once did she say that. So the fact that she's come out and it isn't backing up her dispatch call and 911 call, to me, is like even more of a guilt admission, because, you know, she's not even going to try and stick with the story. Like, at least Candace Wells was like adamant. Somebody took him. And then when somebody would ask her, she'd be like, I don't know, but somebody took him. Here, Leilani is just like not even trying to like lie even further about her lie about somebody took him. It's just a huge red flag. Good morning, Marshall Dove. It's good to see you. Peach, I'm not watching I won't be streaming the press conference, but I'll be watching it. And I was hoping you guys knew of a live stream that would be showing it, because I do want to cover that case, and I might do a live stream tomorrow morning on the Delphi case. But anyways, let me switch screens. Hello, Mel Mac. How you doing? Good morning.
And as you heard,
Somewhere
Leilani Simon, the mother of Quinton, has been named as the prime suspect.
And let me know, have you guys seen this? It aired, I think, Friday night. Okay, ABC will be having it today. Okay, thank you, Allison Faye. She sent me a link to it. That's good to know, because I might play it again tomorrow morning as we go over it. Mel is going to stream it. Hi, Melissa Jade. Okay, so Melissa saw this already. It's Court TV, newer segment. Press 1 if you've seen it. Press 2 if you haven't. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy breaking it down with me again. And that's the other thing is I don't understand is the babysitter was like, I haven't been speaking out. Well, now I have to. And it's like, I've literally seen like a statement from you like every day almost, it seemed. I don't know. Anyways.
In a homicide investigation. Okay, this isn't like where investigators are in the dark. What happened? No, they believe that this little child is dead, and they are looking at Quinton's mom, Leilani, as the.
And think about it, even in the Summer Wells case, she has been missing for like a year and a half. They haven't come out and said, we believe she's deceased. So the fact that this missing child case has a different narrative. Okay, Duty Ron will be streaming the Delphi murder press conference. Thank you, Allison. I will check that out, and I'm a member to Duty Ron, and I highly recommend you guys supporting that channel as well. They're just a plethora of good knowledge and just good guys all around. But yeah.
Prime suspect. As we sit here tonight, I have a lot of questions for Leilani, a lot of questions. And
part of the fact that they've described this missing child as being deceased already, I really do, just like my thumbnail is questioning, did Danny flip on his girlfriend? And I'm just thinking, for them to come out with them saying that he's deceased, I'm just like, why? What did he tell them for them to really think that he's deceased? Is my thing. It's more than just she was seen on CCTV footage going to a dumpster. Danny knows something, and Danny has said something, in my opinion.
she is invited to be on this program anytime. Let us know. You can come on. One of the questions I have, what is your verdict? What do you think happened to your child? How did that child end up not inside your home? How did that child end up not safe in your care?
And here, Vinny is asking, these questions to Leilani, when really it's like, think about it too. Like, it's not just her child, her home, her care. It's the grandmother's child. Technically, according to law, she has custody. So how did this happen, Billy Joe, in your home, with your child? And Leilani's your child too. It's so sad. And again, I know a lot of people are like, I feel bad for Billy Joe and Billy Joe, blah, blah, blah. From what I saw in that live stream, and you guys can argue with me all you want, and I don't think you will argue, because it's blatantly evident. I mean, anyone with two eyes can see. Every one of them were high on that live stream. The mother, Leilani, and the grandmother who has custody of this child, Billy Joe. And that, I'm sticking to that, and I will 100% say that forever, that they were both on something. So, it paints a big picture of, these are the motherly figures that were taking care of this poor boy. And it's so sad. And that's the thing, is like, I know addiction is a disease, and it's sad and it's horrible and it touches so many lives. But at the same time, children being around and their criminal records, and this is a lifestyle for them, and it's been this way for a very, very long time. And it might explain why Billy Joe's children have turned out the way they have, and she might have guilt, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all I have to say is, the only reservation of sympathy and empathy that I have is for Quinton. He's the only one that I can really think about, like, what happened, or, let me put myself in their shoes. And all I keep thinking about is, in Quinton's shoes, did he think, why isn't mommy watching me close enough? Why isn't grandma watching me close enough? Or was it something where Leilani snapped and he's thinking, why is mommy so mean? Like, those are the only things that I can think in my mind and save reservations of sympathy and empathy for. And that might make me sound harsh, but he's the victim. He's the child. He didn't ask to be born into this world. So the only room I have for sympathy is with Quinton. So I can't go there. Like, when people say, like, how would you like it if your child and you were Billy? I can't go there. I can't. This is a draining case already, like, emotionally. I have a 21-month-old. Anyone who has a child or is a grandparent, etc., like, they're just so innocent. So if I'm going to sit here and feel sorry for anybody in this case, it's not going to be the adults. I'm sorry. It's Quinton.
What really happened that morning? What time did you wake up? Did you text the babysitter? If you're up at 5:30, what's going on at 5:30 in the morning? What's your relationship like with your boyfriend? What was he doing? Did you see him? When was the last time you saw your son? What were you doing the night before? Who else is in the house? Was the door open when you woke up? Were there tire tracks? What did you do when you found out your child was missing? And again, what do you believe happened to your child? All the questions that I have. Anytime, let us know. You can come on, tell your story. Meanwhile, as we mentioned, protesters gathering outside of her home, they're looking for answers. They're looking for answers because of the amount of information that's come out. The arrow and the fingers are pointing in one direction. And the questions that need to be answered is, where is that child? Where is Quinton? What happened to him? And the temperature is turning up in that neighborhood. And I don't think it's going to decrease. There are times and there are cases and there are moments where members of the community kind of jump in because we know children need our help and our protection. And if that protection somehow is breached inside the home, then sometimes the community needs to jump in. But they want answers. Meanwhile, police who are investigating this, well, they're looking for the evidence. They want the evidence of what happened and who is responsible. Now, they've already indicated which way they are looking. But ultimately, in order to resolve this case and uncover the mystery of this disappearance, they're going to need evidence. And we'll see which way that evidence points. But they've given us an indication so far because they haven't told us everything that they know. Not everything. Meanwhile, the child in the middle of all this, Quinton, like any other young child, 20 months, he just wanted to be loved. Just wanted to be cared for. That's all they really want. They want someone in their life who is going to protect them, who's going to take care of them, who's going to love them. When they become teenagers, I know it's a little bit of a different story, but look at this little guy. What else does he want? He wants someone to love, hold him, protect him, tuck him in, read him a story. That's all. That's all. All right, let's find out where we are and what's going on here. Let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Julie Janae, joining us live tonight from Quinton's home down in Savannah, Georgia. I hear voices in the background already. Julie, tell us about the scene tonight and what was happening today at Quinton's home.
Vinny, there are about 24 people who have gathered here tonight. They've got the same questions that you have. You can hear them behind me. They've been chanting, "Where is Quinton? No justice, no peace." That's an important call for this house behind me. And you can even see the group that's gathering on this side of the road, but also facing the house that's on this side. Today, police were here for an issue that happened with a car that was blocking another person. Let's take a look at that video here, where we did see that wooden fence of this house open. That's some of the rare movement that we see of people coming in and out. So it was a bit of an altercation that was not really explained. Someone who was inside the house trying to get out, that gray car there was blocking their exit. We heard some exchange between a woman who was in that car and a man who was in that truck, but ultimately the truck did drive away without any further incident. But there is tension here, and there is this clash between those who are on the street who say they are applying pressure and the family that's inside. So to bring it back outside and to tell you that wooden fence is here, and
Pendo is the only complete product platform that combines feedback.
there's an open window of the house that has bright spotlights that are actually aimed into the yard. There are cameras on that house, very likely wanting to make sure they can see who gets close to their property. So the continuation of that question of why after 22 days they don't have answers about little Quintonsimon.
So while you're at the home tonight, obviously, and we can hear what's happening behind you, investigators are searching the landfill and looking for a child's remains. What's the latest in that search?
Today we did hear from police. They've been quiet for the last couple of days, but here's the latest tweet that we saw today that had to do with our landfill search. The Chatham County, Georgia Police Department, they say the search for Quinton has been the most massive undertaking ever for our department and has involved the work of well over 100 law enforcement and civilian personnel. They called it an exhaustive search of that landfill where they believe that Quinton's remains are located. That search is continuing, so no real end in sight in what we're hearing from police. No indication of when they believe things are going to wrap up, how far they've moved in this search of the landfill that we've gotten some video of those searchers that are out there going through carefully. But as of now, 22 days later, this is 2 weeks of that search at the landfill with nothing more from police about what they may have found so far and if there is more they are still looking for.
So as we try to uncover and understand exactly, what happened that day, let's go back to October 5th and kind of work through the timeline of all of this, because we have gotten some information released in this case. What do we know about the timeline of October 5th?
Then I'm actually going to back it up.
So I'm just going to pause it right there. And remember, we played the dispatch of them calling, and Leilani claims that somebody came in and took him. So abduction theory right off the bat. And that wasn't until the babysitter told her to call 911. So she didn't even do it on her own accord. It was being prompted to do it, which is another red flag. We have to keep these red flags in mind, And hello, Florida Bass Fishing. I don't know if I said hello to you, but good morning. And I'm just curious, everyone here, do you think that Danny had more involvement? Like, as far as, we've already asked if we think that he struck a deal, but do you think that he had more involvement, or do you think he's clueless? Like, pretty much she was like, I'm going to use your phone and text a babysitter, or you think he knew? I don't know. I'm thinking like he knew, but now he has struck some sort of deal in immunity.
Just a little bit and start with October 4th, when the babysitter of this little boy told us she saw him at 4 o'clock that afternoon. So the next day, we know from police, but also from that babysitter. Here's a look at a timeline. At 5:39 in the morning, there was a text that the babysitter received about her services not being needed, that there were other arrangements that were going to be made about where Quinton would be. I clarified that with her today. She said that text was actually from Danny Youngkin, the boyfriend of Leilani Simon. Quinton's mother would also be the father of Quinton's younger sibling. Then around 6 o'clock is what we have on this timeline, because police say and confirmed in their press conference that Danny Youngkin told them that he did see Quinton in his bed, sleep at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then less than 3 hours later, 9:39 a.m. is when that 911 call was made to police about him being missing. And less than 3 hours after that, Chatham County Police, who were already investigating at that point, they say they were able to mobilize the FBI because they were told that this might be an abduction case. So that's why they were able to get the FBI here so quickly. October 12th, so a week after that, law enforcement then informed the family that they believe Quinton is deceased, and also said that Leilani Simon, his mother, was their prime suspect. They didn't name other people, but also didn't make an arrest or any charges in the case at this point. October 18th is when the search of that landfill began, and that, of course, is still continuing to this day.
Okay, so I want to go back to what you said in the beginning, because that's kind of new for me. So the actual text message to the babysitter comes from not Leilani's phone, but from the boyfriend's phone?
Correct. That is something that I had to clarify myself, because it did have to do with the son of Leilani Simon. But she told me that it was actually Danny who sent that message to her at 5:39 in the morning. So that may have been around the same time, the 6 o'clock time, that he told police that he did see him. But the nature of that text was, we're not going to need you to take care of Quinton, that he would be with his mom in the morning.
And And so from that timeline, it's not clear if Leilani was up at that time.
So, right, it's not clear if Leilani was up at this time, but you know what else I'm thinking too is Leilani was supposed to work that day. So, if we're going to say that Danny has no involvement and he's completely innocent, what reasoning did Leilani give to Danny to say cancel the babysitter? Because in a way, it's like they still had to go to work, both of them. So, Danny must be in the know of something at this point to cancel the babysitter. I mean, he would have questioned, like, what do you mean? I thought you had to work. You know what I mean? So I'm with you guys thinking he knows more. And just like CDT said, I think Danny knows more, but I think it's interesting right now. Leilani is the prime suspect, according to law enforcement. And think about it from behind the doors of an environment of like an interrogation room. What did they say to Danny? He went in there allegedly 5 times to speak with law enforcement, and Leilani went in 3 times. So they're saying to him, this girl's going to throw you under the bus, just like she threw her baby father under the bus for another crime. You might want to get ahead of this before she does it to you, because the mother is already helping her. So it's just, I can only imagine what was being said pretty much. Yeah, allegedly he called and canceled at 5:28 a.m. and then she woke up at 9, allegedly. And we've also heard 9:30 too. 911 call is 9:38. It's terrible. And CDT, I private messaged you too, if you want to check that out while we look at this.
Time in the morning, or if she woke up for the first time, sometime around 9 or so before the call to 911.
Not clear. We don't know much about that from police, but I do know from talking to the babysitter. And the reason we're not naming her, she said that she does not want to be continually named in the media because she has received threats. But this is something that we spoke with her directly about. And she said that it was around 9 that she first got the call asking if she knew where Quinton was. And she actually crossed the street. Her house is not too far from here. She has her own memorial set up in front of her.
So the other thing too is, so the babysitter gets a text and it says, we don't need you. And then she gets a call and they're like, hey, have you seen Quinton? And she goes over there to look. And I'm just thinking like, crap, what was I going to say? Well, anyways, since she mentioned the memorial, I thought of another thought I had. So remember in the news media interview where Leilani and her mother did last week on the mainstream news, and she was like, we can't even go out and enjoy his memorial. And it's like, why would you need to enjoy the memorial? You told us that somebody came in and took him. It's just like not adding up any of this. Like an FBI must be like watching this so closely and like, wow, idiots, because it's like it's like she's admitting like, yep, he's dead. It's crazy. She's the prime suspect. Her story has changed. Her theory of what happened has changed. And she's pretty much saying like, we can't even enjoy his memorial. Why would you need to? You told all of us somebody came in and took him. Let me just rewind a little bit to see if I'll remember what I was going to say.
Across the street, her house is not too far from here. She has her own memorial set up in front of her house. She made her way over to the house to help search, but she said she didn't go inside. She was searching around the property, and that she was the one. This is what she told us, is that she suggested that 911 be called, and that's when the call was made to police because they were unable to find him and thought that he may have been wandering around in this neighborhood.
Wow. So again, the much clearer picture tonight of the scene that morning, which is significant. How do people react initially to what's happening? It's not clear if Leilani is text messaging, if she's up at that time. But the babysitter is called. The babysitter Comes across the street, comes over. They're looking outside. Okay. Let's get back to Leilani. Now, I understand that you reached out to Leilani today.
Oh, I've been reaching out to Leilani for days now. We've tried every avenue that we can. Of course, it is difficult because they are very leery of anyone coming onto their property because of all of the commotion that's been here every night. But we've sent messages, we've called, we've left a note there on the door, and we did ultimately hear from a family friend, someone who indicated that they are reluctant to.
I need to just unmute it right now because I'm seeing really good comments in chat. And the one on the screen, very, very good point. Does anyone else find it strange that the brother who lived in the home is never mentioned? Definitely. And let me look through chat. Okay, yeah, Linda. Leilani first said that Bubba took him until law enforcement cleared him. Leilani lied to law enforcement. And other people are saying she's on probation. Hasn't she at least broken probation? Like 100%. 100%. Like, why did they ever drug test her too? Like any of the times that she's been questioned, did her probation officer say, we're going to make you do a drug test too? You know what I mean? I'm curious on that because certain drugs only stay in your system for so long. So if he goes missing on the 5th, I'm wondering, like, how long did it take before they're like, hey, your probation officer's here. He's going to make you do a piss test, I'm curious there. And yeah, so at first, that's a good point, Linda. First dispatch 911 call confirms that she's claiming it was an abduction. Maybe she meant by her baby father, maybe not. But it seems like it's already, the story's changed even on that level. Because you're right, Bubba gets blamed, just like Leilani tried to do to him for some break-in that happened like a year prior. So it's just, the story shouldn't change, obviously. This is horribly rude. As soon as I seen that, I'm like, let me click. This is horribly rude and judgmental, but how are drugs, alcohol, riddled, stupid people able to get away with this? Make it make sense. The walls are closing in, I feel. Like, I don't even know why people are going to fly and go there. Like this, I really think that something's going to happen. I think they know. I mean, they're hoping to find something at that landfill to seal the deal, in my opinion. They used Darlie Rotier's behavior at her son's birthday by the grave against her in court. Oh, yeah. You're so right. You're so right. And she's on death row. Some people have questions about that case, but just like the Scott Peterson case, they used his behavior against him too. And yes, that wasn't a father and a living child. It was, the baby was in utero still, and his wife was pregnant who was killed. But same concept in a way that in court, they can use your behavior against you if need be. And I do feel like the video I held up and showed you guys in the beginning of the stream of her on YouTube this weekend, it goes against human nature, the way she was behaving, looking, acting, things she was saying, things she wasn't saying, all that is very significant, and all that is being looked at for sure. FBI, they're watching. All right, guys, let me just keep going and playing this. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for all your good comments, too. I'll pause it as I see the comments in chat come through, and we can discuss more. That's true, Vicky said. We thought the walls were closing in on the wells, too. I hate to be pessimistic here. No, you're being a realist. You're being a realist, not a pessimist, because think about it. We're all wondering what's going on in that case too. But at the same time, on a positive note, the Delphi murders happened 5 years ago, and we finally got something. So these things take time. So maybe they do have time to go there and protest and do what they got to do at Leilani's house. I really hope that the objective is to get the truth out of Leilani. And at this point, I mean, even though I did ask through the grapevine about the car situation that morning, I'm at the point where I don't even think that I can trust their statements, like, to share even. So if I was to ask Teresa again, to ask Sherry, to ask them, something, I'm thinking like, there's no point. There's no point. You can't trust these people. They're liars. They're connivers. They're, I hate to even say it, but they're baby killers.
Speak further, especially with this investigation going on, but mention that the friend feels that there needs to be more of a discussion about other possible suspects. They feel that there are other suspects in this case who aren't being focused on. Of course, we know what police have revealed is only one name, but with them saying prime suspect, there's also the possibility that there are other suspects who are not their prime suspect, but that is the name that has been released by police.
And obviously, we cover trials all the time, and we know that, police are supposed to follow all the leads and then see where the evidence takes them, not focus in on one person and not look anywhere else. And that seems to be what we're hearing from Leilani's camp. And there's like lights behind you. I saw, are they shining lights on Quinton's house, on Leilani's house, the mother's house tonight, the folks that are showing up there? Or are the lights going? Because I kind of saw a spotlight floating behind you just a short time ago.
Oh, those might be our lights, Vinny. Not sure about lights that may be coming in, but it's possible.
There
are
it is.
candles.
There's the
You can
light.
see that they have set out candles. Oh, that is someone. Yep, that is someone who has a flashlight, and they are shining that onto the house. I can see that now. There are candles there on the ground that they've put down. So you have this contrast of a vigil, really, for a little baby. You have all of the stuffed toy animals. There was a woman today who stopped me. She was driving by with her kids, and she said, are we allowed to put down stuffed animals of flowers because my children want to? And we know the family has said that they welcome people to pay respects, but not to insult their family or to do some of the things that they're hearing from the chanting outside. So really,
do you guys understand how twisted that just sounded? She's saying they will allow people to come by and pay respects. How are they openly just saying, like, yep, he's dead. Come on over. Leave us a candle. Leave us a teddy bear. And thank you so much. What is going on? Like, I see why people in chat are like, how long is this going to be? Like, why isn't she in cuffs? Like, I'm feeling that so much right now. Like, this is just absolutely a mockery. The family telling Court TV, this huge mainstream media, come on by, come pay your respects to our dead child. I can't. Guys, I'm literally cringing so much. Like, my stomach is in knots. That's how, like, pissed I am right now. Exactly, Caroline.
Two different types of remembrances going on here for a little boy who you'd think both sides of this fence, of this line here, the no trespassing line, both sides wanting more answers.
All right, Julie Janae, live in Quinton Simon's neighborhood tonight. Protesters there still trying to get an answer as to what happened to that 20-month-old child. Julie's going to stay with us. We've got more on this investigation plus coming up next hour. In Waukesha, Wisconsin, 6 people murdered and more than 60 injured during
contact with biological father. We have had contact. Has there been any contact with Quinton's biological father? We have had contact with him. Is he at all, is he a suspect in this case? Has he been cleared? He's not a suspect in this case.
So the biological father was not living with Leilani, but
So yeah, the biological father was not living with Leilani. I'd like to know when the last time it was that he saw Leilani. We covered the relationship between Leilani and Bubba in one of my past live streams. and his statement of what he believed may have happened, or just his statement in regards to what it's been like to kind of be with her in a relationship. So if you want to check that out, pretty much he was saying that it wouldn't surprise him if she'd done something to him, which is a little bit different than the oldest father's statement about Leilani, the oldest son's father said on Justice for All that he didn't believe that Leilani was capable of harming them, and that she was a good mother. And then Bubba, who was somebody that she tried to frame for a crime and all that, it seems like their relationship's a bit different, and he wouldn't be surprised pretty much. And I mean, it takes a cold-hearted person to throw somebody else under the bus who you were in a relationship with like that. So they had broken into a property, and Leilani tried to put all the blame on Bubba. So I just wanted to pause and read Allison's comment because I couldn't agree more. The sad thing is, in the past, families would look out for their children. These days, the family units are broken. That's a lot of the problem. I agree. It's so sad. And hello, allegedly. Good morning. It's good to see you. Hi, Jesse. Good to be here. This absolutely hurts my heart as a mother that has a child that has called heaven her home for 3 years now from cancer. Enough is enough. Stop hurting these babies. Wow. I'm so sorry for your loss. I cannot imagine. I'm so sorry. No child, nobody should have to, even dogs. I lost my grandma and my dog to cancer, and I'm so sorry that happened to your child. And that's absolutely right. And over here, it just goes back to Leilani's statement on the media when she said, maybe someone has him and, they thought that they were his savior. What?
Quinton-Simon's biological father. But as you heard there from investigators, he's not a suspect into this. But 2 days into the search for little Quinton, Leilani Simon's 2 days in, Leilani Simon's mother, Billy Howell, spoke to a reporter with the local news station, WSAV, in Savannah, about her daughter's version of events. Court TV legal correspondent Julie Janae, joining us live tonight from little Quinton's home in Savannah, is with us as well. Do we want to take a look at what WSAV had there? Let's take a look at it.
I feel like whatever Leilani's story doesn't add up. Well, I've been talking with the baby's father, with Quinton's father. I've been talking with him all day yesterday, and he's already been questioned, and they've already went to his job and went to his home, and Quinton's not there, which is I didn't think he would be anyway. Why Leilani would even come up with a story like that, I don't even know.
And I noticed somebody earlier in chat had mentioned Billy Joe's jaw chattering on the live streams this weekend, and people speculated it's from drug use. I believe it is also. I just wanted to say hello to all the shirts. Good morning. Thanks for being here. I heard they carved a pumpkin for Quinton. Did they for the 2 other babies they have lost? They have lost all, not just one. That's right. Nicole said, the grandma spending her time on YouTube moderating is bizarre to me. That should be the last thing she has time and energy for. Well, she's got to push the narrative. She's got to push their story and their narrative pretty much to keep them innocent. And I think they've even said things like, Cher is the truth, or what Cher says is the truth. And it's like, very questionable. Can you imagine if this was mainstream media that they were speaking to, and they were like telling one news station their narrative and telling that news station, like, this is what it is, like, pay no attention to the 911 call in a way. Like, the 911 call says that you thought he was abducted. And then now the grandmother's coming out saying something happened in the bathtub, like all this stuff. Like, we're not just going to believe what you have to say as truth now and day to day. Like, we have to go back to your initial statements and all that. And like, this is not adding up. I don't even need to explain this any further. You guys get it. There was something else somebody said in chat that I wanted to read real quick. I'll scroll through while I play this. And everyone keeps talking about I don't know. I really, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking right at this moment. Exploitation Nation USA. Anyone can see that they are using some form of amphetamine. And I know everyone has thrown around like what form they think it is. Like that drug doesn't exist like in a pure form anymore. I can't say it because this is YouTube, but actually I think Court TV mentions what kind they is. They are saying, yeah, Paula, they are saying that's what it is, but there is no way that's what they're doing. I'm saying like they might think it is, or maybe it's mixed, but there's no way they're doing that. They're doing the dirty form of that, in my opinion.
How about that? How about that? And that's Quinton's grandmother, Leilani's mother, saying that her daughter's story doesn't add up. Let's bring back in Julie Janae. She's down there in Savannah, outside the home in the neighborhood. So what did Leilani tell police? Did they mention the biological? Did she mention the biological father? Was that what was said here? Was that her version of what happened that day?
Our understanding is that was part of this questioning of what may have happened, what could have happened, that if this was in fact an abduction, which we know was told to police, it's one of the reasons that the FBI got involved. But the biological father is an important part of this, or a question as to what happened, because when you do have a child that goes missing, that's one of the first people that police try to talk to. And they did talk to Henry Bubba Moss, but he doesn't live anywhere near here. He lives 86 miles away, further north in Georgia. And DailyMail.com senior reporter Sean Cohen, he's out of New York, but he was attracted to this story. He's been here in the area researching, and he was able to track down the father about a week ago and had some very interesting information that we were able to talk to reporter Cohen about. Take a listen to what he learned from that interview with Moss. He said he was very somber, reluctant to talk at first, but eventually let him know this.
Leilani had told police that he had taken Quinton overnight. So he was being questioned about where he was overnight, October 4th into October 5th, and proved to police satisfaction anyway that he had nothing to do with it. He was home. He went to work that morning at 7 in the morning, and so he was shocked to learn this.
Sean Cohen also had some interesting information about the grandmother of this little boy, Billy Joe Howell, who we have reached out to several times, also about talking with us and sharing her side. And he was able to get this recorded information about a conversation that she purportedly had with the biological father. You heard her talking about in that clip you just played, where she's having a conversation with him about what happened and the story not adding up. But here's what he learned from that recorded interview between these two people.
During the conversation with Bubba earlier, Billy Joe shared her theory that actually it was Leilani and Leilani's boyfriend who were present and high on drugs, and that Quinton, she believed, had drowned in a bathtub. So it was a stark contrast.
I just want to take a little poll in chat on, do you believe something happened in the bathtub? Press 1, press 2 if you think that's BS. The thing about that I'm not really buying is for 2 reasons. One, they put on the missing information poster and all that at first that he was wearing pajamas, like a Sesame Street top and bottom. And so why would his last outfit be that if he was, and plus Danny said he saw him in the pack and play. Like, what did they do? Like, we're supposed to believe he drowned and then they put him to bed. Like, no, absolutely not. And Leilani says he was fine around 1:45. So I'm not really buying the whole bathtub thing. The other thing I'm thinking is, wait, what does 2 mean? Because I'm seeing so many 2. Oh yeah, BS, right? Okay, 2 is BS. The other reason why I don't think that it was a bathtub incident is because bath night for 21 for kids in general, I mean, you guys know, it's a lot of work. Like it's sort of like it's like feed them once they're done eating and all that, run the bath, and it's a whole process. It's a whole like time consuming thing, check the water, make sure it's not too hot, and add the bubbles and add the toy. Like it's a process. Like, and I just don't see Danny and Leilani getting the baby from the babysitter to go home and do this whole routine. Like I feel like they're the type to ask the babysitter, like, can you bathe him? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that they just thought like, yeah, it's bath night like that. I just don't see that, being the case. It seems like a lot of people are not believing Billy Joe's theory about the bath. And yeah, a 20-month-old can stand in the bath. My little girl had like one of those training seats like that you hook in the bath. It was so annoying, like all the time. But she's never tried to stand, but every baby's different. And at the same, like you're saying, like it would be deep, but not too deep where like they couldn't stand, I guess. Yeah, my kids could climb at that age. Yeah, out at that age. Exactly. Every kid's different. So we don't really know what Quinton was like. Okay, that's another thing Caroline says. Their story is bath before dinner. Just no. Exactly. That just goes against like, obviously, because sometimes we do mac and cheese on bath night because I know she's going to get super messy with it, but she loves it. So there's no way you would be doing bath and then be like, then we fed them dinner. Exactly. The whole family lies, in my opinion. Right. What did Melmac say? Scrolling up. If that were the case, an accident in the tub, why not call 911? Exactly. Even if you're high at that moment or whatever. I don't know. My kids never climbed out of their playpens either, but I've seen kids do it. Yeah. My little one, which reminds me, I got to play this and continue on. I got to get her out of the crib. She's just reading, but.
To see what they said publicly versus what Billy Joe said to Bubba privately.
So you can see what I used to struggle with. Look at the before and after photos. I swear by Vegamore.
Cohen, they're referencing the public statement or public interview that was given by not only Leilani Simon, but also her mother was there with her, supporting her in them both saying they just want to know what happened. They don't plan to go anywhere. Police have said that Simon is not a flight risk, and that's one of the reasons that they're not concerned about her not being under arrest at all. And Simon has echoed the same, that she doesn't plan to go anywhere. And if something does come up where she is at fault, she says she'll turn herself in to police as well. But major information coming from this report from DailyMail.com having to do with the biological father and his conversation with the biological grandmother.
So Bubba, biological father, conversation with Quinton's grandmother. Quinton's grandmother gives her theory, believing that the child, that her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend high on drugs, and maybe the baby drowned in the tub. Now, we're not saying that's what happened.
And think about it. If you're a mother like Billy Joe, and that's the theory that the whole world is running with, then what really happened in my mind is probably worse. You know what I mean? Like for Billy Joe to put this theory out, horrific. No one wants to. In fact, that's like one of the biggest fears. And that's the leading cause of death for children under 4 is drowning. But for Billy Joe to just say it nonchalantly in that voice recording and then put this theory out there, the truth of what happened in my mind is probably worse than that. And that's just where I'm at. Because if a mother wants to just say this theory and admit that their daughter was that neglectful, then it's probably worse.
Happened, but that's what one of the potential theories is of Quinton's grandma, who's in the house behind you with Leilani. Wow, that's huge. What do we know about Leilani Simon? I mean, what's her story? What's her background?
I know she's 22 years old. She's a mother of 3 children, and just based on her social media, she seemed to really enjoy being a mother. She listed herself as engaged to the boyfriend that we keep hearing about, Danny Youngkin, who would have been with her with the child. They both also have a younger child together, but of course he's not the father of Quinton or of her older child. But I was able to look at a Facebook page that we believe to be hers, where she lists her last name as his last name, and found it interesting, some of the things that she was saying just before the disappearance of Quinton. Here's one of them.
I just want to pause it quick and leave Queen of Hearts comment on the screen. Yeah, you know, the pool is a huge issue I have in this whole thing. It had no cover on it, even though pool swim season's probably over there. It was not maintained, so obviously they neglected that. Obviously the statistics aren't good for drowning for his age. So the pool is definitely a huge red flag in this whole thing. We have to leave it as a possibility. Not the bathtub, but the pool. Maybe Billy Joe blaming it on a bathtub in her mind sounds better, because the pool was maybe more her responsibility, and it was clearly not maintained and taken care of. That's her house. And also remember, she put that comment up on Facebook or whatever, asking for people to help her put her pool back together, and then she deleted it. It's like, why are you so sensitive about deleting that? Because she left up the TikTok about her openly being proud that if her family was like any family on TV, it would be the family of Shameless, which, you know, we love the show, but to have that be your life, red flag. She left that up and didn't delete that, but she deleted the comment about the pool. So that, of course, has to be left as like possible. Also, if you guys haven't checked it out, No Thanks Investigates had a cadaver dog expert and a dog expert on, and I believe he informed everyone that the FBI has, you know, testing capabilities and chemical solutions that can test if there was a dead body in water. I didn't watch the whole stream. I kind of caught it near the end, and they were recapping that, and then they discussed it later on another live stream. But that to me was like mind-blowing and kind of makes sense. I mean, with all the technology we have nowadays and the stuff that they can test for right there on the spot, not even just with cadavers, but drugs, etc., it would make sense that they would have something that could test if there was a body possibly. But again, I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know if I tried to look up the forensic solution. So maybe Duty Ron or Ed Wallace or anyone in more expertise of this information. I mean, I could even text my source, that's federal law enforcement, and see if he knows about it. But that to me was very interesting to hear. And then also we read in that one media source that we've shown in other live streams where they said that they needed a search warrant to access the in-ground pool. So if you need to see that, it's on one of my, I think maybe 2 of my live streams on this case. And, you know, for them to need a warrant, in my opinion, would mean like they did more than just search, like something was extracted and taken to the lab so that it's on paper and there's a paper trail showing that we processed this, we got their approval for it. This wasn't an illegal search, blah, 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 blah. But let me play the rest of this. And hello, Pink Dahlia. So good to see you. And yes, we're just hoping that Quinton is found this week. Absolutely. Like, we need that piece of evidence to seal the deal. You know, I've already tried to process, like, okay, this isn't a missing child case. They've come out and told us that they believe he's deceased. Hi, Diane. It's good to see you. So now it's just like we need that piece of evidence. And hello, Delana. And thanks everyone else who has joined us. Let's finish this and then carry on because I've got to get going, as you know. Oh, yeah. Well, I want to ask for sure, Caroline, but I'm sure he's busy.
August 22nd, which would have been about 2 months beforehand. She says, I need mom friends, and not mom friends that drop their kids every weekend to go out, but mom friends that want to meet up at the park with the kids and have a lunch date. On September 18th, she posts that she can't even horseplay with her man and kids without someone coming into the room, assuming the worst. And I believe at that time she was living here at this home with her parents. On September 25th, she writes that she's in need of homes for rent.
What did you guys think that horse playing comment was about? Because that's sort of red flag.
In Savannah, Georgia area within an $800 to $1,300 price range. If anyone knows about or any place that's kids friendly in a neighborhood like that, let me know. Vinny, not sounding like a mom who doesn't want to be a mom, someone who sounds like she very much enjoys being a mom and taking care of her kids there.
Absolutely. Sounds really normal. I want like mom friends. I mean, to me, and you know, that sounds like every other mom, right? You want other moms that have kids so you can get together, play dates and all that. That's it. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Julia today digging up a lot of information tonight. Julia, thanks so much. I want to, anything else happens down there tonight, let me know, obviously. But I want to bring in from Los Angeles, California, forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, columnist of Inside the Criminal Mind, Dr. Carol Lieberman.
Okay, so wait. Vanessa thinks that horse playing comment was about sex. I don't know why I'm spelling it, but I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting that they showed that. Sounded weird to me, but I thought maybe I missed the context. Yeah, it's weird to me too. Stepdad confronted people in front of the home last night. CDT is saying, interesting. We'll have to check that out. Where did you see that? Because I want to go to that after this. That was red flag. Why the horseplay comment on social media, right? And then before the eviction notice, like, did something happen or he was ready to fight last night? Oh my gosh. Wait, stepdad, Tommy? Is his name Tommy? I have a video of it. Okay, well, I'll check that out.
All right, Dr. Lieberman, I'm trying to
This lady's interesting.
First of all, who this young mother is. She's been named as a prime suspect. You've got her own mother in some recorded conversations theorizing that Leilani was on drugs and high and somehow the child accidentally drowned in the bathtub, something like that. Meanwhile, we see these Facebook posts that sound very much like a normal mom, right? So what's going on inside that house? What's going on in her life?
Hi, John.
I think Leilani was, despite her posts, was anything but a normal mother. She has quite a history of drug abuse, cocaine. The father of Quinton talked a lot about Leilani, about how she was always high on coke and marijuana, and she would sleep with men to get money to buy more coke. You know, that she has 3 children from different fathers and so on. And clearly the mother, the grandmother, Billy Joel, to have created Leilani, to have had a house where Leilani grew up, and that was an incredibly dysfunctional household. Dysfunctional doesn't say it. There were people who were abusing drugs. They were in jail. The uncle of Quinton, in other words, the brother of Leilani, is in jail or prison, or he's for murder, for manslaughter. There's all kinds of, it's a whole family of dysfunction and criminality. I think what the grandmother said, probably seems like the most likely explanation, because I think that would place the two of them as being likely up together doing drugs. In other words, Leilani and her boyfriend Danny. And there are reports that Danny has left town, so that's kind of suspicious. So maybe they were in it together. But one of the things I think is fascinating is Leilani's state of mind. She's on the one hand, in terms of what happened to Quinton. On the one hand, she's saying she doesn't know, she doesn't have a clue. Kind of like Casey Anthony did. She pretended for a long time, Casey Anthony, that she knew nothing about whatever happened to her daughter. And then also, is it denial? Is Leilani in denial about what happened? Is she delusional after all the coke she's been having? Could she be delusional about what happened? And the police were telling her that maybe it was the shock of the daughter of Quinton being killed, of her killing him, or it being an accident or whatever, that maybe that shock has caused her to forget what really happened. I think that's being rather generous to Leilani. But one of the things that caught me, and you probably read this quote yourself, they say such strange things. Leilani said, we want him back in our arms, holding us. Of course, it's really that she should be wanting to hold him, not him taking care of her. But anyway, that's what we want. We're just hoping he's in somebody's house and they're feeding him. And maybe they wanted a baby or couldn't have a baby. Maybe they thought they were his savior. She talks about him like he was a stray cat, that maybe a pet cat of hers that somehow she's hoping landed up in a neighbor's house. I mean, it is really very distorted.
Dr. Carol Lieberman, always great to have your insight and perspective.
All right. So pretty much, guys, it's just terrible. There's no words for it. But anyways, I appreciate you all being here. That's all I had to say. And hello, Twisted Gemini and Alicia, for joining the stream. It's good to see you. And yeah, we'll just be obviously covering this stuff as closely as we can. And yeah, I don't know. House of Criminals, these kids didn't stand a chance. I agree, Reality. It's there's really no words. It's just terrible. But guys, we will talk very soon. I appreciate you guys on replay watching and everyone who participated in the live chat. And please like and share and subscribe if you haven't. And we'll be doing more cases, including the Delphi case. We'll be watching the live stream probably with CDT, or either some channel will have it, and hopefully I will see you guys in the live chat. And then we'll probably go live tomorrow morning, just recapping the case and going over the press conference. I'm not sure what we're going to hear or whatever, but it's a case that I've been following, but just through the headlines. Like, it hasn't been anything that I've deep dove into like other cases here on this channel. But, you know, I do have a Facebook group for true crime in case you guys want to join it. It's called Open Discussion on Disturbing True Crime Cases. And it's a private group, and we cover a lot of true crime stuff in there that is different and in addition to what we cover here on this channel. And yeah, so I'll see you guys all soon. It looks like I'll probably see you in Duty Ron's live stream, and then CDT is going to do a recap of the case, and that'll be at 1 p.m. So again, we're going to watch it, recap it with CDT, and then in the morning we'll do my version of the recap as well. So I hope I see you guys all there at all those live streams, and then we will talk soon. Happy Halloween. Thank you.